Buckle your seatbelts. Turbocharged Facts is rolling up to a new frontier where car keys change hands with the swipe of an app and ownership takes the back seat. Curious how car sharing and subscriptions are redrawing the roadmap for modern drivers? This episode gears up to reveal why swapping, borrowing, and subscribing might just be driving us into a whole new automotive era. Imagine a world where owning a car is as old-fashioned as renting a VHS tape. The automobile, once the epitome of freedom and status, is undergoing a quiet revolution, one that's reshaping not just how we drive, but how we live. Out of the shadows of crowded urban streets and rising costs, car sharing emerged, not from Silicon Valley boardrooms, but in the cramped apartments of post-war Zurich. In 1948, Cephage began with just 2 cars, and the radical idea that mobility could be communal. It wasn't until decades later in the late 90s that this notion of cooperative mobility took root on a global scale. Unexpected pioneers, software engineers and activists in Berlin, who coded crude booking systems on dial-up networks, inadvertently laying the groundwork for multi-billion-dollar tech platforms. Modern car sharing isn't simply about convenience, it's an algorithmic ballet. Each vehicle, tracked by GPS and managed via machine learning, continually migrates across invisible grids, optimizing itself to appear just where it's needed most, sometimes before you even realize you'll need it. Consider this. In Seoul, a city notorious for gridlock, one car-sharing vehicle is estimated to replace up to 13 privately owned cars. That translates into thousands of tons of carbon emissions, avoided not with sacrifice, but with silent efficiency. What few realize is that car sharing has spawned entirely new classes of vehicles, compact pods designed to occupy half a parking spot or fold themselves away like robotic origami when idle. Engineers now design interiors as much for quick disinfecting between users as for comfort. Even automakers who once scoffed at sharing are scrambling to catch up. Porsche launched its Passport subscription in Atlanta, letting drivers swap between a 911 and a Cayenne in a single weekend. Luxury becomes fluid, personalized, ephemeral. The psychology of ownership is shifting. In Shanghai's sprawling metropolis, researchers discovered that young professionals treat car access as they do streaming music, an amenity to sample, not an asset to accumulate. With every trip rated and reviewed in real time, reputation becomes currency. Hidden behind the seamless user experience are vast data operations. Artificial intelligence parses terabytes per minute, traffic flows, maintenance needs, even subtle behavioral patterns, like which neighborhoods generate surges in midnight rentals, or detect microtrends such as avocado toast runs on Saturday mornings. Ironically, rural areas, long immune to public transit innovations, are now quietly experimenting with peer-to-peer car-sharing co-ops. In remote Finland, locals devised an app-based system where agricultural vehicles moonlight by night as community ride shares. In some cities, the rise of car subscriptions has led planners to repurpose parking garages into green parks or vertical farms. Los Angeles is piloting downtown towers, where yesterday's rooftop helipads are being converted into shared autonomous charging stations. A single shared car leaves digital fingerprints across dozens of user journeys each day. This trove of behavioral data has been used not only to improve services, but to help law enforcement reconstruct lost timelines and solve missing persons cases, a surprising twist in urban sleuthing. Yet there are tensions beneath the surface. Insurance models scramble to keep up with fractional ownership. Liability algorithms try to pinpoint blame in seconds after an accident between 2 drivers who never met, on opposite ends of their subscriptions. At the heart of this transformation lies a cultural question: is mobility a product or a service? For Gen Z in Jakarta or Lagos, the answer often boils down to whether your phone battery lasts longer than your commute. If you look closely in Tokyo's Shibuya district at rush hour, you'll spot an eclectic ballet, tiny shared, eaves humming silently next to luxury subscription rides, all orchestrated from afar by algorithms whose dance steps we barely perceive but increasingly rely upon. Hit like and subscribe to keep your engine running with more turbocharged facts every week.